Hello and good afternoon, everyone. I hope all of you are safe and healthy. Good afternoon, Santosh, Deepak, Niharika, Vahini, everyone who is wishing good afternoon. I miss someone, Niharika, Abhiram, Hanak, everyone, Santosh, everyone. I hope all of you are safe and healthy. Good afternoon, Sai. Am I audible and visible? Good afternoon, Raju. Audible and visible? Fine. Good afternoon, Vijay. Okay. Before going on to today's class, let me again, someone has sent me message on this chat. Yashwant Khushi, please send me message on the other one. I have logged in by two IDs. Both of them are co-host. The other ID is Astic, which is only meant for your chats. So please send me messages on this ID only, the Astic ID. Okay, I hope you understand, Yashwant and Khushi. Don't send me message on the other ID. Hi, Harish. How are you? So, as I've already told you, please, if you have any message, send me on this ID. Yes, Venu. Good afternoon on the Astic ID. I can see your messages. Good afternoon, Mansa. Keep your videos off so that there is no lagging and you see my video and audio correctly. Having said that, today I must all welcome you. I must welcome you all to the official first class of physics, in which we'll officially begin our journey in physics. Up till now, what we had done was basic maths, and we had discussed some topics starting from quadratic equation to log to trigonometry, differentiation, integration, vectors, and scalars. Now, in today's class, we'll be starting up with physics at last. I hope everyone is excited as I am. Now, to understand or to start with physics, what is the first chapter that we are going to do? Actually, we have done the first chapter. First chapter was known as units and dimensions, in which we try to understand what are physical quantities, what are units, what are SI units, derived units, fundamental units, and so on. This is so-called the second chapter, motion in one dimension. In books, it is also written by a different name, motion in a straight line. Motion in a straight line. How many of you are aware of this topic, motion in a straight line? I have written it in a different way. I have written it motion in 1D, one dimension. In your book, it might be written as motion in a straight line. Sanjay, Hanak, are we aware of this? Motion in a straight line. So motion in a straight line will basically mean we will be studying the simplest form of motion. And the simplest form of motion would be motion in a straight line, just like this. It might go in the right direction, it might go in the left direction, it might go in the upward direction, it might go in the downward direction. But to begin with, we'll be beginning up with a very simple one, that motion will be there in a straight line. Now, before going into motion in a straight line, let us first try and understand what all things, what all tools we require, what are instruments that we require to study motion. Before even getting on to understand what is motion, what is rest, let us try to first understand what all things we will need to understand or to study motion. Anyone has any idea what all instruments or what all tools we will require to understand motion? I know that you might have heard about motion in your 9th standard. What are the things you, forces, Hanak says forces. Forces is the 3rd or 4th chapter beta. Displacement, Raju, you're talking about motion. I am saying, please listen to me very carefully. I always insist on fundamentals to be very strong in foundation. What are the things we need to understand motion? Okay, you might be aware of what I'm going to write. You might not have thought, Hanak is saying speed. You might not have thought about it in the way which I want you to think. So I want you to think in a different way. Let me types of motion. Chaturya says, okay, you have very good idea, beta. But what you are talking, Khushi, about forces and types of motion, you are way ahead in time. I want you to bring you back to the beginning of the time, not Big Bang. Beginning of time. Time, yes, Sanjay. Now you are coming to the topic time. Okay, just look at what I'm going to write and try to understand what I want to say. The first thing that you need to study motion is someone who can study the motion. You can call that someone as observer. Is everyone getting my point? You can call that someone as observer. The gentleman who is going to, or the lady who is going to observe your motion, that is known as an observer. That is the first tool that we require to study motion. Am I clear? Yes, so we need an observer who is going to observe your motion. Now this observer can sometimes be known as reference frame. You might be aware of this term, reference frame. Now reference frame is nothing but, let us say for example, this is ground and this is a block. Wherever I draw this hatch, it is ground and this is a block. Now there are two people, maybe you can call them twins. This is number one, gentleman A, and this is number two, gentleman B. Now these both gentlemen are going to study the motion of this block. And let us say the block is moving with a velocity v. Gentleman A is standing on ground. Gentleman B is on the block itself. This block may be a bus. I'm not very good at drawing, so my bus will look like this. This block may be a bus. Now these two, A and B, are what? What are these? What we'll call them? What is the term for A and B? We'll not call them gentlemen, we'll not call them ladies. What will we call them? Anyone? Observer. Yes, Anna. We are going to call them observer, or you can call them reference frame. Reference frame or observer. Someone who is going to observe that motion. Observer or a reference frame. Now, what is A going to see? A is standing on ground. This gentleman A is standing on ground. This gentleman A is standing on ground. This observer is standing on ground. So his reference frame is the frame of ground. Am I clear? His reference frame is the frame of ground. Am I clear? Ground is the reference frame. Most of the motion in the beginning that we are going to study will be with respect to ground. Ground will be our reference frame. Our observer will be on ground. Am I clear? Can I have some raised hands? What do you mean by an observer? What do you mean by reference frame? I only have 5, 6 participants. Let me call your names then. Only 10, 11. Okay. Let me wake everyone up. Let us start with Anjali, Chaturya, Deepak, Jayashankar, Venu, Harsha, Charita, Deepak, Santosh, Anak, Santosh, Niharika, Swati, Vahini, Abhiram, Goli, Khushi, Krishna, Likita. Are we there? Yes, we have got some 20-25 raised hands. So, the most important person to start the motion or to understand the motion is an observer who is going to observe that motion. This observer can be called as a reference frame. To begin with, most of the questions will be done from the reference frame of ground. This ground can be also called as the reference frame of earth. Am I clear? This ground can also be called as the reference frame of earth. Now, look at what I'm going to say very closely. What is A going to see? A is going to see that this bus is moving with a velocity v. This bus is going to move with a velocity v. That is what A will see. That is what A will see. So with respect to ground, the bus is going to move again, forwards. Can anyone tell me what will observer B see? What will B see? What will this gentleman B see? Will he see the bus moving? For him, will the bus be moving? Yes, he'll be actually, Hannah. For B, bus will be at rest. When you look at B, bus will be at rest. For B, bus would be at rest. And he would see that, astonishingly, that this gentleman A is moving backwards. Yes, Jayashankar. For him, gentleman A would be moving backwards. Who is right? Tell me who's right. Is A right or B right? Who will you call as right? Hanak says A. Santosh says A. Only A is right. B is wrong. What is wrong with B? What is wrong with B? Both are right. Yes, Jayashankar. Both are right. Both are right. Not maybe. Both are right. B is not wrong, Hanak. B is also right. Why do we see a difference between A and B? Again, look at my question. A sees that bus is moving aage, bus is moving forward. But B sees bus is not going anywhere, A is moving backwards. Why? There's a difference. Why? There's a difference again. Yes, positions are different or observers are different. Or you can say reference frames are different. If you remember, I gave you an example of this phone. See, now look at what you're observing. Now, when I'm holding the phone like this and I ask you, what do you observe? What will you say? You will say that you observe a rectangle. Yes or no? You are observing a rectangle. Yes or no? Where you see this as the width and this as the length. Yes. Yes. You see a rectangle. No problems with that. Now, if I hold the phone like this, and now you're not observing it from here, you're observing it from here. Now what do you see? You will again see a rectangle, but you will see width as different and length as same. Why does the phone appear different? When you are watching it like this, it is appearing different rectangle. When you are watching it like this, it appears a different rectangle. The phone is same. Reference change. Yes, Hannah. Everything depends on its reference frame. Dolly says position. Yes, the position from where you're observing it, the position from where the observer, which is me or you, are observing things, that becomes your reference frame. And if your reference frame is different, please mark my words, if your reference frame or your position is different, the motion will look different. Am I clear? Am I clear with this point? Can I have some raised hands that we have understood this point of reference frame, sir? If the observer or the reference frame is different, I only have 9 hands. Again, I'll have to call up names. If the reference frame is different, the motion is going to look different. Will it be actually different? Will it be actually different? Is A right or B right? Or both of them are right? No, both of them are right. That means motion depends on what? If I can write motion, I can also write rest. Motion and rest depend on what? Motion and rest depend on observer. Yes, motion and rest depends, I hope you are writing, on observer. I can call the observer as reference frame. Motion or rest depends on observer or reference frame, and hence they are known as relative terms. Have you heard this one? Motion and rest are relative terms. Why are they known as relative terms? Anyone? Why motion and rest are known as relative terms? Anyone? Because no one has an answer. Why rest and motion are known as relative terms? Deepak, Sai, Yashwant, Venu, Abhiram, Anjali, no answers? Because they are interrelated. No, they are not interrelated. They depend on, they are related to observer, or they depend on observer or reference frame. Motion and rest depends on observer or reference frame, and hence they are known as relative terms. Am I clear? Am I clear with this? Can I have some raised hands? Motion and rest are relative terms. They depend on reference frame. Therefore, they are known as relative terms. So the first thing that we must have is an observer or a reference frame who is going to observe the motion. Clear? Now, shall we move ahead? Now, this observer or this reference frame, please see what I'm talking. This observer or this reference frame will have what? Will have these three axes. Do we remember these three axes? X, Y, and Z. Now this observer or the reference frame, if you are wanting to understand motion, they must understand where the object is. To understand where the object is, they must have an origin and they must have three axes, X, Y, and Z. So these are known as your reference axes, which are a part of your observer or reference frame. And this will give you, what? This will give us the position of what? This reference frame or reference axis will give us the position of object in space. Am I clear? Where are they located in space? Space means they might be on the surface of Earth, they might be somewhere in air. If you know the X coordinate, if you know the Y coordinate, and if you know the Z coordinate, you can find out where the object is in space. Am I clear? So every observer or reference frame must have X, Y, and Z axis. You must have heard about the term GPS. Have you heard about the term GPS? Switch on your GPS. This is how your Google Maps work. They can tell you where a particular location is. This GPS, if you look at very closely, it has latitudes, it has longitudes, and it has altitudes. It will tell you if you are going up, it will tell you if you are going left, if you are going right, if you are going northward, if you are going southward. If you call this latitude as x-axis, this longitude becomes your y-axis, and this altitude becomes your z-axis. Are you getting my point? Are you getting my point? So that if you want to locate any particle in space, what is the location of this particle? This point. So first I will need an origin O. First I will need an origin O. Then I will need X, Y, and Z axis. This X, Y, and Z axis with your origin becomes your observer or your reference frame. And then you can locate all the particles in space. Am I clear? Everyone understands this basic principle of how to locate anything in space? Only 8 participants have understood that. That's very sad. Let me call out names. Shall I? Let me wake everyone up, starting from Tarun, Tanu, Harshita, Shrichand, Siddharth, Siri, Sanjay, Sana, Rahul. We are there, everyone. Everyone is there. Okay. Understood. Okay, so we'll need an observer, we will need a reference frame, and we will need your reference axis. This reference axis will give us position of an object in space. What else do we need to understand motion? We have an observer who's going to observe. We have a reference frame and we have an axis. I can now know the position of different objects. Do we need anything else to understand or study motion? Hannah said something. Do we need anything else apart from observer and reference frame? Do we need anything else? Do we need anything else? Speed. Hannah, no, you are going too ahead in time. Units. No, Jayashankar, no. Units, everything else units. No, we don't need units to understand motion. Direction, no. Time, Chaturya, yes. Time. We need time. And this time is given by something known as a timing device. So you will need to have a clock, watch. If you don't have a clock and you don't know what is the time, one object is here, the other object is, and then it has come here. You don't know what time it has taken, you will not be able to understand motion. Sometimes it is here at point A, then it is here at point B. You don't know what time it has taken. That is no means of understanding the motion. So you need what? Now your tools are complete. The first tool is you need an observer. Second tool is you need a reference axis. Third tool is you need what? A timing device to see your time. Am I clear? Have we got all the tools together? Now we are going to get into the first definition of motion. We are getting into the first definition of motion, and the first definition of motion is going to be the definition of rest. Write the heading rest. What do you mean by rest? What do you mean by rest? What do you mean by rest? Everyone can see this slide, right? What do you mean by rest? I hope every one of you know motion. Hannah says no motion. Remember, beta, we are in 11th standard. And we'll have to understand definitions in physics, especially. And those definitions must be perfect. We just can't talk in here. The definition have to be perfect. Once the definition is perfect, then only you understand correctly. Otherwise, when the question is difficult, you will get confused. Understand definitions properly. What is rest? Can anyone read it? If a body does not change its position, if the body does not change its position as time passes, no stable position. Pranay, please don't say all this. It's not correct. If a body does not change its position as time passes with respect to a frame of reference, it is said to be at rest. This is the definition that you should understand now. No stable position, no movement, no motion, no. You can't define rest in terms of motion because the definition of rest comes first, then comes motion. So I cannot say rest means no motion. No, I'm a very perfect person and I like perfection. So what is the definition of rest? Can anyone tell me now? If a body does not, no one understands it. I'll again repeat it. If a body does not change its position with time, with respect to a given reference frame, then it is said to be at rest with respect to the reference frame. Am I clear with the definition? Yes, Abhiram has come for the first time. Raise hand, only 2 people have understood this. Yes, sir, I'm getting some, yes, sir. So, an object is said to be at rest if it does not change its position with respect to a given reference frame. So, only in that reference frame, it is at rest. I gave you a very nice example of bus and a person standing on ground. For a person standing on ground, the bus is moving. But for a person on bus, the bus is at rest. So if it is not changing its position with respect to a reference frame, it is at rest. Then if you understand rest, please write the definition of motion. What will be the definition of motion now? If you have understood rest, what will be the definition of motion? You just need to change one thing. Will not come. If a body changes its position, yes, and a change in position. If a body changes its position as time passes, see, time is important, timing device is important, with respect to a given reference frame, in a given reference frame, it is said to be in motion with respect to the reference frame. Am I clear? Do we understand the importance of reference frames here? Changing position with respective time. Yes, Anak, that will be there. Yes, Pranay, that will be good. If it changes its position with time in a reference frame, it is said to be in motion in the given reference frame. Am I clear? Am I clear? Now, here is a wonderful example given for the reference frame. A very wonderful example given for the reference frame. Can anyone see? Can everyone see this example for reference frame? See, this is a passenger who is standing on the platform. Passenger who is standing on the platform, what he sees? Tree is at rest. Yes. And what do we see? The train is moving. You will see that the train is moving and the tree is at rest. Tree is at rest, train is moving. But when the same gentleman is on the moving train, his reference frame becomes the moving train. Now the tree will be moving backwards and he will be at rest. He will feel that I am not moving, the train is moving backwards. The difference in reference frames. I already have 150 messages. I hope everybody understands this reference frame thing. What is a reference frame? Yes or no? You all understand? A reference frame, rest and motion are relative terms because they depend on reference frames. Yes or no? Now, when we understand motion, we'll be understanding them into two categories. The first category will be one-dimensional. Tree is moving in opposite direction, just Anak clear. One-dimensional motion is also known as straight line motion. This would be our first priority to understand straight line motion. Then we will be understanding motion in two dimension, which is we will be understanding in terms of projectiles. So projectiles will be our motion in two dimension. Once we understand two dimension, we can understand three dimension. So what will we do in one-dimensional motion? Motion will be in a straight line. Motion will be along in a straight line. Do we understand this? Motion will be along in a straight line. So if the particle is moving along X, he will only move along X. If the particle is moving along Y, he will only move along Y. Am I clear? If he moves on X, he will only move on X. If he moves on Y, he will only move on Y. In two-dimensional motion, he will move in two axes. He will move in X as well as move in Y. So his motion will be difficult. First, we will try to understand motion in one dimension. Then we will try to understand motion in two dimension. Am I clear? I think all these notes are already there in your app. You can go through these notes. They are written very nicely. Please go through them. If you have any doubts, you can ask them. Now, to begin with, we will be taking all the bodies as point masses. We'll be taking them as points. In questions, you will encounter a bus is moving, a car is moving, a train is moving. Everything would be moving. A person or a plane would be moving. Everything would be moving. But when you are going to understand their motion, we are going to take them as point masses. We can just take them. We can take the bus like this, just like a block. We can also take it like a point. Does not make any difference because this is motion in a straight line. Simplest form of motion, we can take them as point objects. Am I clear? Am I clear with this concept of point mass, reference frame, and the definition of rest and motion? Anyone has any doubts, please raise up. Because now, as time goes, things are going to get, again, as I told you, you might be knowing all these definitions, but again, now you will have to understand these definition in a new light. Please cooperate with me. They might look different to you, but trust me, this difference is the difference between 9th standard and 11th standard. The first definition that we are going to study, please write with me, is the definition of distance. Now you will say, sir, we all know what is distance. We all know what is distance. So if you all know what is distance, can anyone tell me what do you mean by distance? Can anyone tell me what is meant by distance? What type of quantity is distance? Quantity means what type of physical quantity is distance, scalar or vector? First of all, tell me that. What type of quantity is distance? It's a scalar quantity. Chalo. Very good, Hannah. So we have made a very good start. It's a scalar quantity. Very good. So it only has what? It only has magnitude, obviously with a unit. And its SI unit is, you all know this, right? We have already done this. This SI unit is meter. You all understand this? Yes, meter. Manasa. Now, can anyone tell me what do you mean by distance traveled by a body? Or what do you mean when you say distance? What do you mean when you say distance? For example, if someone is here at point A and it has moved to point B, what do you mean by distance traveled? See, we have to be very exact in definitions. The definition is correct, everything is correct. The length of the part covered in an interval. Yes, that is the exact definition of distance. Now, please look at me very carefully what I am doing here. From A to B, if an object is moving, he might move in any random way. Let us see, he moves in this way. Blue path. I can call this blue path as path number 1. I can call this blue path as path number 1. He has traveled along some path. We can always find the length of this path. So the total length of this path, we find out the exact length of this path. And the exact length of this path is known as, length of the actual path is known as distance. Yes, Raju, distance. Everyone understands this. Length of the actual path is known as distance. When you are traveling from point A to B, you might be following different paths. The length of the actual path traveled by the body is known as the distance traveled. Can I have some raised hand that we have understood this? Can I have some raised hands that we have understood the definition of distance? It is the length of the actual path. Now, how I am going to denote this? Since it is the length of the path, length, I must always remember length, I will denote it by the letter L. Am I clear? Am I clear? I will denote it by the letter L so that I always remember that it is length of the path. Now, what are the things that you must remember about distance? What are the things that you must remember about distance? The first thing that you must remember that it is a scalar quantity. The first important thing, it is a scalar quantity. Yes or no? The second important thing is SI unit is meter. Yes or no? Yes or no? The third thing that you must remember is the dimensions. What are the dimensions of length or distance? What are the dimensions of distance? L. Remember that L, capital L, dimension, capital L. Yes. These three things are very easy to understand. The fourth thing is, it can be added. It can be added or subtracted just like. It can be added or subtracted just like numbers. Do we remember this? It can be added or subtracted just like numbers. Do we remember this? Please tell me that we remember this, sir. It can be added or subtracted just like numbers. For example, if I am going from A to B, and I travel a distance of 5 meters, then I go from B to C, and I travel a distance of 6 meters. What is the total distance traveled by me? What is the total distance traveled by me? It will be 11 meters. I have added 5 meters with 6 meters. The answer is 11 meters. So it can be added or subtracted just like numbers. Remember this, added or subtracted just like numbers. One more thing, distance is the length of path. Distance is the length of path. Length. Now, let us talk about my mobile phone again. The length of this phone, if I look at here or like this, can length be negative? From wherever I look at the length, can length be negative? Can length of an object be negative? No, sir. No, sir. Santosh says no, sir. Nyarika says no, sir. Therefore, we must remember the fifth point. What will be the fifth point? Tell me. I already have 200 messages, which is very less. What will be the fifth point? No, sir. You don't understand the fifth point. I told you length cannot be negative. So what will be the fifth point? Length cannot be negative. So what will be the fifth point? Length cannot be negative. We are not talking about length here. Chaturya, we are not talking about length. We are talking about what? Distance cannot be negative. Yes, Santosh. Distance cannot be negative. Distance cannot be negative. We were talking about distance, beta. We were talking about distance. Distance cannot be negative because length is never negative. Am I clear? Have you understood this? Can I have some raised hands? Only 6, only 11, only 13, only 16. Let me call some names and see if everyone is awake. Starting from the last, Tarun, Tanu, Varsha, Archita, Siddharth. Siddharth has not said anything. Shashank, Sanjay, Sana, Padam, Likita, Krishna, Kevin, Harish, Sharita, Manasa, Harsha, Vijay, Anjali. We're all there? We understood this. Okay, I've got some raised hands now. So these are the things that we must remember about distance. It's a scalar quantity. It is the length of the actual path. We have used the letter L just for that. Scalar, SI unit meter, dimensional, added or subtracted like numbers cannot be negative. That takes us to the next definition. And Hanak says it's displacement, and Hanak is always right. Yes, it is displacement. It is displacement. Now, let us talk about this amazing quantity which all of us get confused about. Every student I ask what is displacement, he gives me a definition which has no meaning. What is displacement? Now I ask you. Shortcut of A to B, Deepak, very wrong. Displacement has got nothing to do with shortcut. It is a vector. Yes, Manasa has made a bright start. It is a vector. Yes, Manasa, I really agree with you. It is a vector. What else? It is a vector. Yes, that is correct. There is no shortcut. Anyone would like to enlighten me more about what is displacement? Straight line from point to point, Hanak, no. Absolutely wrong. Shortest path, Mansa, absolutely wrong. They've got nothing to do with shortest path. It's a vector. Why shortest or longest? See, that is what I am saying. Direction and magnitude. Yes, Pranay, very good. It is a vector, so it must have direction. You're on the right track. It must have magnitude. Distance covered by an object. See, who said distance covered by an object? Let me first clarify that point. 200 messages. Let me find out where that message. Anjali says distance covered by an object. Better, then why will I call it displacement? I'll call it distance only, na? Why should I call it displacement when it is distance traveled? Why I am calling it displacement? It has to be something different. Motion in a straight line between A to B. Wrong, Raju. Absolutely wrong. Nothing. They got nothing to do with motion in a straight line. Even if the body is not moving in a straight line, there will be displacement. See, we have understood things in a different way in 9th standard, 10th standard. Now you'll have to do it in a different way. That doesn't mean that what you did in the last class was wrong. It just means that you only understood a part of it and probably did not understand the full part of it. The shortest part, one side has got nothing to do with shortest path. That's what I'm saying. It has got nothing to do with the shortest path. Shortest or longest doesn't matter. Remember, it's a vector. Please do remember it's a vector. Okay. So do we understand what is this? Anybody understands what is this? I'm just making x and y axis. The change of position of an object. Yes, Santosh, now you are reaching somewhere where I want you to be. Yes, yes, change in position. Yes, yes, change in position. Yes, just relax. So don't worry, I'm here. So this is my x and y axis. Suppose a particle is at point A. Suppose a particle is at point A. Shorter distance, side, nothing to do with shorter distance. Suppose a particle is at point A. Same particle, which was here, point A, point B, point C. Here it was moving like this. Now I'm just trying to complicate things. And the particle is at point A. Now he goes to point B. Please, all your eyes on the whiteboard and listen to me very carefully. Very careful. A and B are the 2 points. The particle might have gone in any way. Let me draw a random way. Tick, 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 tick. It has gone like this. Do you all understand that particle can move in any way? Not necessarily that it moves in a straight line. It can go in any way. What will be the distance traveled by the particle? Anyone tell me? Someone is sending messages on this chat. Siddhartha, send a message on the other one, and I think you are right. Siddhartha, you are right. You are definitely right. But you don't have to say that much. I'll just squeeze it and make it very smart. Siddhartha, come on this one. Siddhartha, come on this chat. A and B, particle has moved. It can move in any random way. The length of this path will be the distance. Sanjay, look at what I'm saying, trying to say now. The length of this part is display. The length of this path is distance. We all agree on this. The length of this part is display, distance. We all agree on this. Can I have some raised hands? Yes. Can I have some only 7 raised hands? The length of this part is distance. Okay. Now see what I'm going to do. Just see. Now this point, I'm going to draw something, and then I'm going to ask, what is this? What is this red gentleman that I've drawn? What is this red gentleman that I have drawn? What is this red gentleman that I have drawn? Can anyone tell me? We just did it in the last class. We did a lot of discussion on this. OA vector, yes, OA vector. So someone has named it OA vector. We also named it in a different way. What was that different way that we named it? Vector OA hat, nahi, OA halt kuch nahi hota beta. There is nothing OA halt. It is OA hat. It is not OA hat. It is OA vector. I called it by this name, R vector AO. R vector AO. Do we remember R vector AO? Position vector of A with respect to O. Do we remember? Yes. OA vector is the position vector of A with respect to O. R vector AO. Do we remember this? Only 8 participants remember. Sad day in democracy of India. 15, 20. Okay. OA vector. So I drawn OA vector. So when the particle was at A, his position was given by OA vector. Now when the particle goes to B, what will happen? The particle goes to B, what will happen, beta? It's very simple. What will happen? His position has changed. Now his position is given by OB vector. Now his position is given by OB vector, which can also be written as R vector BO. Do we remember R vector BO? What does R vector BO means? Anyone, please tell me. We had done it in the last class only. R vector BO mean. No one knows it? R vector BO. Position vector of B with respect to O. Yes, Deepak. Yes, Raju. Position vector of B with respect to O. I always keep on telling you, beta, learning is a two-way street. If it becomes one way, it doesn't make any sense. So now what you can see is initial position vector was OA vector or R vector AO. His final position vector is OB vector of R vector BO. What has changed? What has changed? There has been a change in its, there has been a change in its what? Position, or I can call it as position vector. The change in its position vector, yes or no? There is a change in its position vector, yes or no? There is a change in its position vector, yes or no? Please say yeses. I need more yeses because this is the definition. There is a change in this position vector, and this change in position vector is known as displacement. So displacement is the change in position vector. Am I clear? The particle has moved from point A to point B. His original position vector was r vector AO. His final position vector is r vector BO. There has been a change in his position vector. This change in position vector is known as displacement, and this is the best possible definition of and the correct definition of displacement. Displacement is a vector and it is the change in the position vector of the particle. Am I clear? No complicated definition, no shortcuts, no shortest distance, no length of the shortest path, no straight line path, nothing. This is the exact definition of displacement. Change in its position vector. Am I clear? It is very simple and it looks very fascinating if you understand it like this. Now, so basically, I can call it as a change in position vector. Change in position vector. Now, just remember how I'm going to write it. Change. Now, I told you this letter delta. Do you remember this letter delta? It is not triangle, it is delta. Do you remember this? The delta? Delta was changed. Remember delta was changed? Remember delta was changed? Delta was changed? Yes. R is position. Upar wala symbol is vector. So this entire symbol becomes delta R vector, change in position vector, change in position vector, and this becomes my displacement. Am I clear how I'm going to write displacement? I'm going to write displacement at delta R. Delta R vector. Delta means change, R means position, everything is coming in the symbol itself. We will never forget it. So how I'm going to write displacement? I am going to write displacement as delta R vector. Am I clear? Change in position vector. Yes or no? Do we understand this? Do we understand this? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We understand this. Now, I can also understand it in a different way. So now what I'm going to do, remember your A is initial position. The particle was here. This position is initial position. Yes or no? This position is initial position. Yes or no? And point B is the final position. Do we understand this? A is the initial position and B is the final position. I draw a vector. This vector will be known as AB vector. Yes or no? This vector will be known as AB vector. Yes or no? This AB vector is a vector drawn from this AB vector is a vector drawn from where to where? Where to where? A, which is the initial position, to B, which is the final position. Yes or no? This is nothing but the displacement. So you can also write displacement like this. It is a vector drawn from It is a vector drawn from, displacement is a vector drawn from A to B. Instead of calling A to B, displacement is a vector drawn from initial position to final position. Yes, Anna. So there are two ways in which I can call the vector, the displacement vector. Either I can call it as change in position vector, or I can call it as a vector drawn from initial position to final position. So, recap. What are different ways of calling? Your AB vector can be written as R vector BA, position vector of B with respect to A. This can be written as change in position vector. This can be written as displacement. Am I clear with all these terms? A body, a particle has moved from A to B. A is the initial position, B is the final position. AB vector is your displacement vector. For R vector BA, position vector of B with respect to A is your displacement vector, or change in position vector is your displacement vector. Am I clear? Am I clear? Okay. Now, if you want to talk about its magnitude and direction, then you can say it is a vector whose magnitude is the shortest distance. If you want to call it in terms of magnitude and the direction, you can call its magnitude is the shortest distance. Shortest distance means it is the straight line distance, and its direction is from initial to final point. So yes, Goli, that is correct. If you want to talk about displacement vector in terms of magnitude and direction, what is the magnitude of this? So magnitude of this is the shortest distance, straight line distance. There you can use the shortest distance, and its direction is from initial to final point. Am I clear of what I am saying here? Displacement vector is a vector drawn from initial to final point, or it is change in position vector. Its magnitude is shortest distance between the 2 points, and the direction is from initial point to final point. Am I clear? What are the important points you must remember? It is a vector. SI unit is meters. It is a vector which is drawn from initial position to final position, or you can write it as delta R. Fourth one, SI unit is meter. What is the dimension? Dimension will be L. Fifth one, if you talk about its magnitude would be the shortest distance, and its direction would be from initial to final. Am I clear? Am I clear? Am I clear? Now let us take a question. Let us take a question and try to understand the difference between distance and displacement. For example, a particle moves from A to B. Then it moves from B to C. This is 4 meters. This is 3 meters. Can you tell me, number one, what is the distance traveled? Number two, what is the displacement? Looking at the definition of distance and displacement, can you tell me these small things? What is the distance traveled? What is the displacement? Yes. The first answer, distance traveled will be 4 meter plus 3 meter. That will be 7 meters. Yes or no? Now, whenever I talk about displacement, you must tell me two things. You must tell me two things. What are the two things? What are the two things? What are the two things that you must tell me? Magnitude and direction. Yes, Anna. So what is the magnitude of displacement? So magnitude of displacement will be this straight line. What is the length of this straight line? That will be equal to 3 square plus 4 square ka root. So magnitude of displacement will be 5 meter, but this is only the magnitude. What about the direction? Direction is from A to C. So you have to tell me all about this. Yes or no? Do we understand this? Yes or no? Do we understand this? Can I have some raised hands? Okay. There are other ways of saying the same thing. You can simply write displacement as which vector? You can simply write displacement as which vector? Please tell me. AC vector. Are you getting my point? You can simply write vector. AC vector is the answer. Whose magnitude is 5 meter and whose direction is from A to B. A to B, A to C. Wait, I have written A to 5. A to C. Am I clear? Am I clear? Yes or no? Am I clear? Now, this is another way of writing it. See, if I call this one and this one, if I call this as my x-axis, if I call this as my y-axis, this becomes minus x, this becomes minus y. The coordinates of this point will become 3, 4. Yes or no? The coordinates of point A, the coordinates of point C will become 3, 4. Yes or no? Oh, sorry, 4, 3. X coordinate is 4 and Y coordinate is 3. Yes or no? The coordinates of point C will become 4, 3. Yes or no? Yes, sir. Then I can write this AC vector as in vector form. Remember, vector along x-axis is I, vector along y-axis is j. How can I write vector AC then? How can I write vector AC then? Yes, Chaturya comes with an answer 4i plus 3j. Am I clear? Now can you relate everything that we have studied till now? How we are relating vectors with displacement and I and j and magnitude and direction. Getting my point? Now find out its magnitude. AC ka magnitude will be equal to under root of 3 squared plus 4 squared. You again end up with 5. Are you getting my point? Yes. Then again, I want to find the value of tan theta. Tan theta with the x-axis. Tan theta with the x-axis. Tan theta with the x-axis. So what do? You divide y-axis by 4. You divide y-axis by x. 3 by 4. So the angle becomes 37 degrees. Am I clear? Am I clear? So this angle would be your 37 degrees. Can you all relate to what we have studied till now and how they are coming together here in displacement? Am I clear? Am I clear? Anyone has any doubts, please raise here. I'll be giving you some sort of an homework from the sheet that from the notes that you already have. Please read distance and displacement. We have already written all the definitions. Please go through the material and you will have a good understanding of what we are going to do Also remember the differences between distance and displacement. You can go through this and we will discuss this in the coming class, next class. So this is a homework for your next class. See here what I was trying to explain, position A, position B, change in position vector. Please read this. And then problem number 1, problem number 2, how many are there? Problem number 3, 3 problems. Do all these 3 problems, and if you can help me out, if you can read speed and velocity, that would be icing on the cake. I have around 300 messages today. That's good. And we'll be discussing all these topics in the next class. Welcome to the Ferris class. We are all there. I hope you enjoyed the class. If you have any doubts, please ask me. I'm here. Else, it's a goodbye from me for today's class. We'll meet very soon in the next class. Take care. Bye-bye.